EduVerse PD Podcast, brought to you by ProEd Education Solutions, your on-the-go professional development. Welcome to another episode of the EduVerse PD Podcast, where we explore ideas shaping the future of education. In this chapter, Andy and Liz explore the third wave of AI education in 2026 and beyond by Dr. Robert Stroud, featured in EduVerse Newsletter, Issue 25, our special New Year edition. From early digital adoption to intelligent systems shaping learning experiences, AI has already transformed education. But what does the third wave truly mean for educators, learners, and institutions? Let's join Andy and Liz as they unpack the insights, implications, and possibilities that lie ahead.
Hello and welcome back to the EduVerse PD Podcast. I'm Liz, and if I sound a little tired today, it's because I have spent the last week trying to figure out if an essay my 10th graders turned in was written by them, or if it was just hallucinated by a server farm in California.
It is complicated.
I love the big ideas, I love the potential of tech, but man, the day-to-day reality is getting complicated.
It really is. And I'm Andy. I'm here to help you and hopefully everyone listening sort of sort through that complexity. My job isn't to add to the noise, but to look at the research and, find the signal.
And we definitely need a signal today. We are doing a deep dive into a piece that I think is going to resonate with a lot of teachers who are feeling that exact same fatigue I just mentioned.
I think so too.
It's an article titled "The Third Wave of AI Education in 2026 and Beyond."
It's a really compelling piece. It comes from Dr. Robert Stroud.
Yeah, and before we even get into the third wave thing, can we just talk about Stroud for a second? Because often when we read about AI in education, it's like written by a tech evangelist or a software CEO.
Right.
But Stroud is a professor at Hosei University in Japan. He's the editor of the University Grapevine.
Exactly. He specializes in classroom engagement and integrating technology into language teaching. He's not looking at this from a coding perspective. He's looking at it from a human one.
He's in the classroom.
He's in the classroom dealing with students who are trying to learn English while navigating these exact tools.
Which gives him some actual street cred. So the title implies we are in the third wave, which, doing the math, means we've already survived 2 waves. Honestly, it feels like we've been drowning in a single continuous tsunami since late 2022.
It does feel like that.
What is this distinction he's making?
Well, it's a framework to help us understand our own emotional reaction to the tech. Dr. Stroud characterizes the first wave as wonder. Think back to when ChatGPT first dropped.
Okay, yeah. I admit it. I had that moment. You type in, write a lesson plan on the French Revolution in the voice of a pirate, and it just does it. It felt like magic.
Exactly. It was the novelty phase.
Mm-hmm.
Stroud references a SWOT analysis that looked at that early adoption period. And you know what the main driver was?
I'm guessing not learning outcomes?
Not at all. It was efficiency. Here's speed. The strength they identified was that knowledge delivery became instantaneous. You didn't have to search, synthesize, or draft. You just asked.
But that strength is a double-edged sword, right? I mean, if I can get the answer instantly, why would I bother struggling with the question?
And that leads us directly into the crash. The first wave of wonder had no guardrails, no policies, no ethics frameworks. We just handed everyone a Ferrari and said, drive.
And we were surprised when people crash.
Naturally. And that led to the second wave,
which I assume is the panic phase.
Dr. Stroud calls it the wave of fear.
This is where the headline shifted from AI is a miracle to AI is the death of the high school essay.
Correct. But here's where the deep dive gets really interesting. We usually think the fear was coming from the teachers. Fear of cheating, fear of being irrelevant. But Stroud points to a study he conducted that kind of flipped that narrative.
I caught that. That was surprising. You're telling me the students were afraid?
Yes. By late 2024, students were reporting significant anxiety about using these tools. They weren't just looking for an easy A. They were worried about something Stroud calls cognitive passivity.
Cognitive passivity. Okay, that sounds like a clinical way of saying laziness, but I have a feeling it's deeper than that.
It is much deeper. Laziness is a choice. Cognitive passivity is an atrophy. It's the fear that if you outsource the heavy lifting, the structuring of an argument, the grammar, the syntax, you aren't just saving time.
You're losing the ability to think.
Exactly. You're losing the muscle.
That's actually terrifying. It's like using a GPS so much you forget how to navigate your own neighborhood. So the students realize, if I let the bot do this, I'm going to be helpless without it.
Precisely. And the school response during this second wave didn't help. It was mostly reactive. Bans, firewalls, zero-tolerance policies.
Which brings us to today. Stroud says we are entering the third wave. But I have to be a little skeptical here. In my district, we are still very much in the ban it and block it phase.
And a lot of places are.
So is this third wave actually happening, or is this just, academic wishful thinking?
That's a fair pushback. I think Stroud is arguing that the third wave is where we need to go to survive, not necessarily where everyone already is. He calls this the wave of intentionality.
Intentionality meaning what, exactly?
Meaning we stop asking, what can the AI do? And we start asking, what should the AI do? It's moving from reaction, either wonder or fear, to reflection.
Okay.
And he doesn't just leave it as a vague concept. He offers 4 pillars to build this practice: connect, guide, reflect, and assess.
Okay, let's break these down, because connect sounds a bit like guidance counselor fluff. Just connect with your students. What does that actually look like when I have 150 kids to manage?
It's grounded in empathy, but it's data-driven. Stroud argues that we often assume students use AI because they are devious. But the research suggests they use it because they're anxious.
Anxious.
Yes. So the connect phase involves using tools like an AI engagement checklist.
So like a survey.
But not a "did you cheat" survey. It asks about emotional states. Questions like, how do you feel when you stare at a blank page? Or, at what point in the writing process do you feel the urge to open ChatGPT?
Oh, I see. So if a student says, I panic when I have to outline, then as a teacher, I know that's the intervention point.
Right.
I don't need to police the tool. I need to support the outlining skill so they don't feel the need to use the tool in the first place.
Exactly. It changes the dynamic from "I'm watching you" to "I'm trying to understand your workflow." You can't integrate AI if you don't understand the emotional trigger that leads a student to use it.
Okay, that makes sense. It's diagnosis, not interrogation. So that's connect. The second pillar is guide.
This answers the question, what are the rules? Because in the second wave, nobody knew. Is Grammarly cheating? Is brainstorming cheating?
And when kids don't know the rules, they just hide everything.
Right. So Stroud highlights this model from the Washington Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction. It's a scale, level 1 to level 5.
I really like this part because it acknowledges reality. Level 1 is no AI, pen and paper. And that is a valid choice for some assignments.
It is. And level 5 is AI as co-creator. The key is that for every single assignment, the teacher explicitly states the level. Today, we are at level 2. AI can give you feedback, but it cannot write the text.
That addresses the districts you mentioned that have bans. You can still use the scale, you just operate at level 1 or level 2, but you're defining the boundary so the student isn't guessing.
It builds trust. When a student knows exactly where the line is, they are way less likely to cross it out of confusion.
Okay, so we connect to the emotion, we guide with clear rules. Now we get to the part that feels like the heavy lifting. Reflect.
This is the antidote to that cognitive passivity we were talking about.
Yeah.
If we are going to let AI into the room, we have to change the activity so the student is still doing the thinking.
How?
Stroud suggests we treat AI less like an oracle and more like a subject to be studied.
He lists some specific strategies here. One that really stood out to me was the AI versus human comparison.
Oh, this is great for showing, not telling. You put a student-written paragraph next to an AI-written paragraph on the same topic, you strip the names, then you ask the class to critique both.
And usually the AI one is technically perfect, but, well, boring, right?
Often, yes. Or it hallucinates. It just makes up a quote. When students see the machine fail, or when they see how generic its voice is, the mystique just fades. They start to see themselves as the editor, not the subordinate.
Another one he mentions is the tool audit.
This is critical thinking 101 for the modern age. You give the same prompt to ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. Then you compare the answers.
And ask, which one has a bias? Which one left out key context? I like that because it teaches that these aren't truth machines. They are text predictors. But, playing devil's advocate here, doesn't this take a massive amount of class time? If I'm teaching history and I spend 20 minutes auditing AI tools, am I still teaching history?
That's the tension, isn't it? But I think Stroud would argue that in 2026, you cannot teach history without teaching how to verify historical information in the digital age. If they go home and ask an AI about the Civil War and they don't know how to audit that output, they haven't learned history. They've just learned to consume content.
Fair point. The medium is the message. Okay, let's move to the fourth pillar, which I think is the one keeping most teachers up at night. Assess.
The death of the essay.
Is it dead?
As a standalone product used to prove mastery. Yeah, I'd say it's on life support. If a student can generate a B- essay in 10 seconds, then a B- essay proves nothing.
So what do we do?
Stroud says we have to shift from grading the product to grading the process.
Which sounds good on paper, but grading process is messy.
It is. He suggests things like process portfolios. You don't just turn in the final paper. You turn in your chat logs. You turn in your drafts. You annotate why you accepted or rejected the AI suggestion.
So the grade is based on the decision-making, not just the final polish.
Exactly. And for the moments where you really, really need to know what a student knows, the oral defense.
Oh, man. My introverted students just broke out in a cold sweat.
I know. But a 5-minute conversation can reveal more than a 5-page paper. Just ask, why did you choose this word? Or explain this argument to me.
If the bot wrote it, they'll stumble.
They'll stumble. If they wrote it, or at least really intellectualized it, they can explain it.
And he also mentions AI-free checkpoints.
Which validates that level 1 approach we talked about. It is perfectly okay to say, put the laptops away, blue books out, write for 20 minutes.
Okay.
We just need to verify that the raw capability still exists.
So connect, guide, reflect, assess, that's the third wave. It feels manageable, but it also feels like a lot of work. It requires us to be very active.
It does. But the alternative is the second wave. Constant policing and constant fear. The third wave is harder work, but it's better work.
Now, Stroud doesn't stop there. He ends the article by looking further down the road. He talks about a potential fourth wave. And honestly, reading this section, it felt a little bit like science fiction.
It feels far off, but the seeds are already here. The fourth wave is about systemic transformation. Stroud argues that if AI can handle the routine transfer of information dates, formulas, basic translation, then the structure of school itself needs to change.
He talks about curriculum reimagined.
Right. Why do we have a history class and a math class and an English class? That separation is an industrial model. Real-world problems are interdisciplinary.
So he sees a move toward project-based learning, where AI handles the fact-checking and humans handle the synthesis.
Pretty much.
That sounds amazing, but also, have you seen how hard it is to change a bell schedule?
I know. Institutional inertia is real. But the other aspect of the fourth wave is personalized learning. We've talked about differentiation for decades, but it's basically impossible for one teacher to differentiate for 30 kids perfectly.
But an AI tutor can.
Theoretically, yes. An AI could adapt the reading level, the examples, the pacing for every single student in real time.
Which challenges the whole idea of a class. If everyone is on a different path, are we still a cohort?
That's the danger. And that's why Stroud emphasizes ethical stewardship. The fourth wave isn't just about using the tech, it's about governing it. Schools might become places where we debate the ethics of algorithms.
So it shifts the goal of education from knowledge acquisition to something like wisdom in governance.
Exactly. And that leads to his final point about redefining success. Moving away from standardized testing, which AI can already pass better than most of us, toward lifelong portfolios that show growth over time.
It's a beautiful vision. A bit utopian, maybe. But I'd rather aim for that than aim for better ways to catch cheaters. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. We started with the magic of Wave 1, the panic of Wave 2, and then this intentional strategy of Wave 3.
Connect, guide, reflect, assess.
Right.
And if listeners take nothing else away from this, I really want them to hold on to the core question that Dr. Stroud poses at the very end of the article.
It's the North Star.
It is. We get so bogged down in, is it cheating or is it accurate? We need to zoom out. The only question that really matters is this helping our students grow?
If the answer is yes, we figure out the logistics. If the answer is no, we don't use it. It cuts through so much of the noise.
It really does.
So here is my challenge to you listening right now. Look at your classroom or your school. Where are you sitting? Are you still operating out of the fear of Wave 2? Banning tools because you don't understand them?
Or have you started to surf that third wave?
Yeah.
And think about those 4 pillars. Which one is missing for you? Maybe you have great rules, the guide part is solid, but you haven't actually asked the students why they used the tech. You haven't done the connect part.
Or maybe you're connecting great, but you're still grading that final essay, the assess part, and wondering why the writing feels so robotic.
Pick one pillar. Try to implement it this week, even if it's just the engagement checklist.
Just ask the question, how does this make you feel? You might be surprised by the answer.
You usually are.
Well, thank you for helping me unpack all this. I feel slightly less terrified about that stack of essays sitting on my desk.
Just slightly. I'll take it.
I'll take it too. Thank you all for joining us on the EduVerse PD podcast, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
What an energizing way to begin a new chapter in education. Thank you, Andy and Liz, for exploring how the third wave of AI may redefine teaching and learning in the years to come. To read Dr. Robert Stroud's full article, The Third Wave of AI Education in 2026 and Beyond, download EduVerse Newsletter, issue 25. Our New Year edition reflecting on 25 years of transformation and envisioning the future ahead. Visit our website to download the full issue at www.proed.com.vn/eduverse. As we step into the next phase of educational innovation, EduVerse continues to welcome bold ideas and forward-thinking voices. If you have insights to share, we invite you to contribute and be part of shaping what comes next. Thanks for listening, and we can't wait to welcome you back in our next episode of the EduVerse PD Podcast, brought to you by ProEd Education Solutions.